Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the India Grand Finale of Microsoft Imagine Cup 2022. Before we get started, we would request you to kindly pay a close attention towards the Microsoft Digital Event Code of Conduct as displayed on the screen at this moment. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Teams are superstars for the day, and of course, the jury members and everybody else who is viewing this grand finale of the Imagine Cup 2022. Well, it is exciting. And I am your host, Kanish Parmar, who is going to take this journey forward for the next couple of hours as we go on a roller coaster ride, enjoying the grand finale thoroughly. Well, I'm sure you're aware we had a very competitive and enthusiastic pre-finale. As I welcome each of the winners of the pre-finale in each category, congratulations for reaching this far to the finals. I'm sure that the mentoring sessions which you attended just before was a great learning experience for each one of you. And of course, today, as you all have come together to pitch your ideas to solve some of the world's most critical social and sustainability issues, I'm sure each team is excited and you are looking forward to take home the Imagine Cup home, isn't it? Well, today's event will witness the ideas across 4 categories, as you're aware once more, just to elaborate: Earth, Education, Health, and Lifestyle. 4 teams have qualified for the finals, are going to present their ideas under these categories. I'd like to thank our distinguished panel of jury members and speakers once again for joining us today. And I'm also sure that each of the teams sitting down there is proud to have reached so far. I'm proud of you for sure. All right, before we get started, let me now very briefly take you through the agenda that we will be following for the day. So here it is, the detailed form, but briefly taking you through, we have a welcome note followed by 2 keynote addresses, which are very, very informative, followed by a fireside chat with our panelists, who are, of course, our jury members as well. And then finally, we will proceed towards the presentations of the grand finale, post which we'll have the results and we'll get to know who is going to represent India. So all the best once again, teams. Let us go ahead and get it rolling. To start the day, let me now welcome Ms. Indrani Chaudhary, the Chief Learning Officer, Microsoft. She has more than 2 decades of experience with a decade plus in Microsoft. She has held several leadership roles across her career, including managing PLs, defining and executing sales and marketing strategies for different lines of businesses, and consulting for learning solutions for corporate clients. In her current role at Microsoft, she is responsible for leading the learning culture and skilling strategy for India. She drives overall execution for customers, partners, employees, and future generation skilling. Let's go ahead and listen to Indrani. Over to you.
Thank you, Kanishk. Hi, good morning, and I hope you and your near and dear ones are safe and healthy. It really gives me immense pleasure to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished speakers, eminent jury panel, winners of the India Imagine Cup 2021, all our viewers, and last but not the least, our India Imagine Cup 2022 champions across the 4 categories: Earth, Education, Health, and Lifestyle. Imagine Cup to us is more than just a global technology competition. It is a platform that provides student developers the opportunity to reimagine technology solutions to make a difference to the society. And this year, we are really excited as we are celebrating our 20th anniversary of Imagine Cup. We all know that COVID has continued to be the spoil sport even in the recent past, but we still had milestones to celebrate. India actually added around 9 new unicorns in the last 1.5 months of 2022. And today, India is proudly a home to more than 86 unicorns with a total valuation of $296 billion. We also had moments which swelled every Indian's heart with pride. These are pictures of Indians who did us proud on several global platforms. And I'm very confident that very soon we will add to this another event, another reason where we will all cherish and celebrate the day when one of the 4 teams participating here today wins the Global Imagine Cup 2022 trophy for India. You may ask why I'm so confident, and indeed I am very confident, because each of the 4 teams that you will see competing here today are winners of the respective categories that they represent: Earth, Education, Health, and Lifestyle. They are here today because they demonstrated their passion and brought innovative ideas to life with the power of technology to solve for pressing community challenges. They have actually competed with more than hundreds of teams over the past few weeks and crossed multiple elimination rounds before they are standing tall and proud at this stage in front of you. All the winners of these categories are already proud winners. They have won Surface Go each for themselves, and they were also lucky enough to be mentored by some of the successful entrepreneurs under these categories. So I would love to call and take the opportunity to really thank all the mentors who spared their time to coach them to not only sharpen their pitch for this competition or the finals, but I'm sure your words of wisdom will help them in their successful careers as entrepreneurs. I just can't wait to see how the day unfolds and which of the 2 teams will actually walk away with the visa to the Global Championship and do the nation proud by winning the Imagine Cup 2022 trophy for India. The winners will not only win the trophy for India, but will also be awarded $100,000 and Azure grants. Each winners will be awarded $100,000 and a chance to be mentored by our recent Padma Bhushan awardee, none other than our CEO, Satya Nadella himself. On behalf of the entire nation, I would love to take the opportunity to wish all the competing teams, all members of the competing team, the very best, not only for the India finals or the global finals, but to have a successful career in the future where you become, employment creators for the country. Know that you are all inspirations for many already. And talking about inspirations, I would like to call the 2 India finalist team who represented our country for Imagine Cup 2021 finals to talk about their experience over the last 1 year, what changed in their lives, and I'm sure they can give some tips to the competing teams here. So first on stage, I would love to call upon Team Detected from Lifestyle category of 2021 Imagine Cup India.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It is always an honor to be here at Imagine Cup competing with the best teams and highly motivated individuals who are presenting their tech-based solutions to solve some of the most pressing issues of our society. Last year, we, Team Detected, came here with our deepfake video detection platform and won the India Championship. In addition to the exceptional mentoring, global exposure, and national media coverage we received, there were numerous opportunities that proved crucial for our careers. From obtaining research internships at prestigious universities like Harvard and Cambridge, to receiving PhD acceptances to top-tier PhD programs in the United States. Imagine Cup has helped us all along the way. We were even invited by India's National Artificial Intelligence Portal to collaborate with them on their some of the articles on latest technologies. But most importantly, our post Imagine Cup experiences have enabled us to explore and gain a better understanding of all these challenges that currently exist in our society and are unsolved. It also motivates us to take initiative and solve those challenges using technology. So last year, we were here combating deepfakes, a pervasive use of synthetic media. But this year, we are here using that same technology to develop global AI-based diagnostic systems with the potential to save millions of lives. The tip that I'd like to give to all the participants today is that be yourself when you're presenting your projects, and no matter what the end result is, keep working on your projects until you achieve the goal that encouraged you to work on those projects in the first place. And whoever the two winning teams today are, be sure to bring the cup back home. Thank you.
Thank you, Atharv and Team Detected. And for all of you who don't know, but Team Detected is back as Synthesize AI team. They are competing again with a fresh new idea in Imagine Cup 2022. Hope you win the cup for us this year. Thank you, Atharv.
Thank you.
Next on stage, I would love to call Team Intelligence, who won the national championship for India under the health category. If we can have Team Intelligence on stage, please. Hi, Venkat. If you can just address for the audience here today, what has your journey been over the last 12 months since you won the Imagine Cup 2021 title? And what would your guidance be to the participating teams for the 2022 event?
Sure. So thank you, Indrani. It's really an honor for us to come back here and share our journey. So yeah, for those who don't know us, we're Team Intelligence, myself, Tarun, Yogeshwar, and Vishwat Kumar. And we were the India champions and the world runner-ups of the Microsoft Imagine Cup last year. And we competed in the healthcare category. So talking about our post-Imagine Cup experience, Imagine Cup has given us the required head start and basic validation that any product would require at the initial stages. So words about us winning the Imagine Cup India Championship and then being the world runner-up spread across our communities like faster than we thought. And we could say that we were in the limelight. So being successful at Imagine Cup gave us the most important value, that is the confidence and the self-belief. And we started working on our product even deeply. So we were able to make many connections, both technically as well as marketing-wise, which helped us to improve our product vision, both technically and in the aspects of market. So yeah, it was around the same time that we decided to patent our idea on a novel design, which we're still working on. And we started approaching advisory for investment, And after Imagine Cup ended, we came to know about Chhatra Vishwakarma Awards, which is given by the Ministry of Education India. So it is one of the prestigious and finest awards for student innovators from India. So we decided to participate in it, and after 7 to 8 elimination rounds, competing over hundreds of universities with tens of thousands of teams, we were announced as the winners in our category, that is any other necessary support. So we would say that Imagine Cup has provided us the solid background, enabling us to move forward. So yeah, right now we are actively working with several NGOs across India and across the world, and blind foundations across India to understand the needs and requirements of the visually impaired. And yeah, we're constantly evolving our product to serve them better.
Thank you so much, Venkat. Both Team Intelligence, Team Detected, you truly are awesome and truly inspiring for the teams here today. Microsoft's mission is to empower every person and organization on the planet to achieve more. And nothing delights us when platforms such as Imagine Cup can fuel the mission for us. And with that, I don't want to waste more time. Without much ado, Kanishk, back to you to kick off the event for us. All the best.
Thank you, Indrani. Thank you very much. And also, thank you, Team Detected and Intelligence. That was indeed something, or I would say those were groundbreaking tips that were at the right moment for the competing teams to go ahead. All right, so with this, we would now proceed into a keynote address. Now, this is titled as Nation's Vision on Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. This one would be presented by Professor Anil Dattare Sahasrabudhe, who's a professor of mechanical engineering at the Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati, and is currently the chairman of All India Council for Technical Education. Professor has had several important academic, research and administrative positions at the Indian Institute of Sciences, Bangalore, Tata Consulting Engineers, Northeastern Regional Institute of Science and Technology, Itanagar, Arunachal Pradesh, IIT Guwahati, and the College of Engineering, Pune, prior to joining as the AICTE chairman. As an academician and a researcher in NERIST and IIT Guwahati, and as the director as the COEP, he has taken up several new initiatives for academics, curricular and co-curricular internship and activities, entrepreneurship, research, and good governance. He's been an architect of reform in technical education at AICTE. This includes the mandatory student induction and internship programs, faculty certification, and the Atal faculty development programs, creating the first ever India's MOOC platform, SWAYAM, examination reforms, innovation movement, series of hackathons, Indian knowledge systems, new funding schemes for supporting students, faculties, and institutes as well have just been some of the work he's been doing. He's the chairman for the Basic Scientific Research Empowered Committee of UGC and on SWAYAM board as well. He's a fellow of ISTE, IET, Institution of Engineering, and the INAE. He has been bestowed with several awards, which include the Maha Entrepreneur Award 2011 of Paraj Industries, Jeevan Gaurav Puraskar, which is a Lifetime Achievement Award from MIT World Peace University, Pune in 2019, Mahatma Gandhi Leadership Award from the Indian Achiever Forum and CSR Times in 2019. He has also been conferred with Ravi J. Mithai National Fellow Award by AIMS in 2021. This is going to be an extremely enriching session for each one of us. Let us go ahead and welcome Professor Sahasrabudhe. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Distinguished speakers, jury members, faculty members, students, and the student participants in the Microsoft Imagine Cup Challenge, Microsoft team, media. I'm indeed delighted to be here on this occasion of the Imagine Cup Microsoft Challenge Award for the year 2022, which is a 20-year-old competition which has been going on with more than 2 million students who had participated in these 20 years. And from India, annually more than 10,000 students participate in Microsoft Challenge Imagine Cup Award. Imagine Cup, as the name suggests itself, one has to go out of the box, imagine something new in the topic which is given to you, and then devise a solution or application which can solve the problem of the society at large. And I recollect very vividly, I was a director of College of Engineering, Pune, and we had introduced a course of biology as a mandatory course with the name of the title of the course being Living Machines. And there were a lot of distastement among students to take a course of biology in engineering curriculum. But however, after convincing them, they had adopted this course. And I found that this knowledge of biology came handy, and they participated in Imagine Cup Award in 2007, and they won the prize for parallel computing, and their product was called BioLel. That means the interdisciplinary nature of the technology that we are seeing today, be it in automobile sector, be it in spacecrafts, be it in terms of rails, be it in terms of any gadget that you pick up, there is multidisciplinarity involved in that. In terms of mechanical engineering knowledge, computer science knowledge, the knowledge of electronics, knowledge of even sociology, psychology, economics, management, and therefore any product which is going to be developed has to have the multidisciplinarity in its wisdom. And that's why when we are talking about in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, the new education policy which has come into being, we need to connect the dots, and students of maybe engineering or medicine must have the flavor of maybe music, maybe physics students will have a flavor of a dance, and such students will have outstanding contribution towards whatever solutions they find out on a global platform. And I'm sure all the students who are participating in India on the Microsoft Imagine Cup award competition this year will have these challenges to be addressed. And it is something similar to the another area which we have been advocating today is that of hackathons. Students are given problem statements which are challenging in nature. They form a team of group of 5 to 6, and by bringing in talent from different domains, they solve the problem using out-of-the-box techniques. And in the process, the problem is solved, which is useful to the department of the government, or it is of the industry or of the society. And Microsoft Challenge Award is something exactly similar. And therefore, my appeal to students is take it seriously. You participate in this competition. You will solve the problem of not only yours, but in the process that of the other nations of the world. And huge number of startups can also emerge from out of that. These ideas are great. And these ideas can be picked up either by the Microsoft itself or maybe supported by some other incubator in your vicinity, and you will be, possibly be upgrading yourself as job creator rather than job seeker. All of these are possibilities, and I'm sure Microsoft team, which has been supporting this for 2 decades, will further develop better ideas throughout of this, and many unicorns can be born out of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor. And it was indeed an insightful conversation there. We are able to look at a huge horizon of things coming together in amalgamation and synchrony. Well, with that, I also think about one more equally important factor, as also touched upon by Indrani earlier, the question of entrepreneurship. You see, we are seeing a new wave of unicorns. Now the question is, one of the ideas coming from here could be the next one. Why not? Well, just for that, we've got a very interesting keynote speaker coming up now. We have Mr. Ankur Warikoo. Ankur is a serial entrepreneur, a best-selling author, an online educator, and a content creator. He is an internet-based entrepreneur out of India, and he's one of India's top content creator today. He's also a best-selling author, and he conducts courses online as an educator in his spare time. He moves to mentor entrepreneurship and acts as an angel investor as well. He's a digital educator and conducts courses on entrepreneurship, career management, and personal growth. With over 100,000 plus students who have attended his courses so far, he really loves spending time with first-time entrepreneurs, hoping that he can help them and not make the same mistakes that he has made earlier during his career. His best-selling book is Do Epic Shit, which released in 2021 and hit the #1 mark in India on the Nielsen bestseller list. Besides this, Mr. Warikoo is one of India's top public speakers and one of India's leading content creator with over 4 million plus followers across YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Earlier, he founded Nearby.com, which was India's #1 lifestyle app. He was the CEO of Nearby.com from its inception in 2015 until 2019. Prior to that, he was the founding CEO of Groupon's India business in 2011 and acted as the country CEO from 2011 to 15. He was the head of Groupon APAC from 2013 to 15. Prior to that, in 2008, he also co-founded his first startup, Accentium Web. So Indeed, a serial entrepreneur. Let's go ahead and hear his thoughts. Over to you, Mr. Variku.
Thank you so much for the very, very warm introduction. A big hello to all of you and welcome to the Imagine Cup Grand Finale. It's such a joy and a privilege to be amongst all of you. Firstly, congratulations to all those who have made it thus far. A very warm welcome to everyone who's participating and listening in today. My name is Ankur and I am thrilled to be spending time with you over the next 10 minutes in talking about something that I'm very, very passionate about, entrepreneurship. And it's pretty telling that we're having this conversation right now because we're living in this time where everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Everyone's seeing reality television unfold. Everyone's looking at unicorns being made every day. Everyone wishes to start up and take charge of their destiny, their charge of their life. And I'm here to tell you that if you find yourself at any point of time at a loss of whether you are an entrepreneur or not, whether you should be starting up or not, you're feeling that FOMO that your friends are starting up and you're not part of that, then let me just remind you that according to me, entrepreneurship is not a profession. Entrepreneurship is not something that you do because you start a business, because you own a company, because you're the founder and so on. Entrepreneurship is a state of mind. It's how you think and behave and operate in life, the way that you go about living life that defines whether you have an entrepreneurial mindset or not. And I know of terrific individuals who are brilliant entrepreneurs in their mind, but on paper may not be entrepreneurs. When you look at someone like a Satya Nadella, and I'll ask this question, do you think that Satya is an entrepreneur or an employee? Well, he didn't start Microsoft. He doesn't own a large part of Microsoft. He wasn't part of the founding years of Microsoft. But I'd argue that someone like Satya is one of the best entrepreneurs that this world has. Not because of the fact that he started Microsoft, but because of the way that he thinks, he operates, he conducts himself. And what I wanted to leave you all with are three things that I believe every entrepreneurial mindset has that distinguishes them from everybody else who doesn't. But for that, I'll have to share my story with all of you. And my story is a fascinating one, not because it's mine. It's a fascinating story because if I were to hear it from somebody else's life, I would just fall in love with it as much as I have fallen in love with my own life. And I'll take you all the way back to school. I was one of those rare kids in school that knew exactly what I wanted to do in life. I was very, very clear from a very early age of what I wanted to do, and it was a three-step plan that was part of my life. Step one, go to the US for a PhD. Step two, join NASA as a space scientist. I was in love with space and astronomy. And step three, as a space scientist in NASA, go and set foot on Mars. Hopefully become the first man on Mars. And everything that I was doing in life, every step, every goal, every thought, every action of mine was towards these three plans that I had for myself. And I then took up science in 11th and 12th. I went on to take a physics program in Delhi University Hindu College. Then I applied to the US universities and I got through Michigan State University on 100% scholarship for their PhD program in astrophysics, which was exactly what I wanted and had been working towards. And the next thing I know, I find myself in the US as a student who's trained in the Indian education system. And the best thing about the Indian education system is it tells us exactly what to do, when to study, whether not to study, what to not study, how much to study, so that you know exactly what to say in the examinations and score exactly the marks that you think will get you the top rank. And that's exactly what I did. I deployed 18 years of my foundational experience in school and college to the absolute best. And the next thing I know, I'm acing the exams. I'm on top of my class. My professors love me. My students hate me. Everything that I had imagined would be happening to me was happening to me. Except something was missing. Something was very clearly missing. And we all know when something is missing. We may not want to admit it. We may not want to come to terms with it, but we always know when something is missing. And it was very clear to me that something was missing in my life as well. While everything that I had imagined was going as per plan, I wasn't jumping up on a Monday morning with the springs on my feet, wanting to win the day. There was this vibe, this hum, this buzz that I thought I would be experiencing, but I wasn't. And I began to have these rather tough conversations with myself. What's wrong, Ankur? What's wrong? This is what you wanted to do, dude. Like, this is where you wanted to be. What could be possibly wrong? And I realized in that moment that physics was something that I was good at, but it didn't make me happy. I was doing something that I was good at, but it didn't make me happy. And for the first time in my life, it struck me that what you're good at and what makes you happy could be two entirely different things, which was a shocking revelation for me, but a very important one at that. And at that point of time, I made the choice, a very hard one at that, to drop out of my PhD because it wasn't making me happy. And I knew that I wouldn't be happy doing it for the rest of my life. And then come back to India at the age of 24. And that was a really hard time because all my dreams, my hopes, my targets had been shattered. I was clueless, directionless. I had nowhere to go, no sense of belonging, no sense of security, no centering in my life. And as luck would have it, someone told me that, hey, why don't you consider an MBA program because that could be a good reset for you. And there was this rather young school that I applied to called Indian School of Business. It was a 5-year-old school. It was a 1-year program, insanely expensive. But the best thing about the program was it was a bunch of work experience people that I would be studying with, who would then tell me what real life is all about, because I had zero perspective in life at that point of time. And that 1 year fundamentally changed me. And it continued to change me because I learned 3 valuable lessons that I want to share with all of you that I have lived by every single day of my life ever since, which now I come to believe are the reasons of my entrepreneurial mindset. Number 1, go back to the first day of your college. Go back to any such gathering where you were amongst a lot of people who were very different from each other. And what you did was you began to look for people who were like you. You began to look for people who were like you because you wanted to spend time with people who looked like you, who dressed like you, who spoke like you, who came from the same background as you, who had the same experiences as you, the same worldview as you, because that's where we feel we belong. That's where we feel that our opinions, our ideologies will be valued, they will be appreciated, they will be comforted, we will not be challenged. And I found the same thing at ISB, and I thought that that was ridiculous because if I were to spend time with people who were like me, I would not learn anything new. So I made it a point to spend time with people who were nothing like me. And I continue to do that till date. I spend time in a disciplined manner with people who are at loggerheads with how I would look at the world or my view of the world, not to agree with them, not to become them, but to understand them. To ask myself this question, what is it that they know that I don't? Because once I know that, I become a richer person, a better version of myself as against a bigger version of myself. Spend time with people who are nothing like you. Spend time with ideas that are conflicting with yours so that you know something about yourself that you didn't before. Number 2, it's very, very easy in today's world to start thinking that you deserve to be where you are. I remember the last time you did something great, the college that you went through, or the fact that you made it so far in the Imagine Cup, or you did something remarkable and the world was applauding you, and you stood in front of the mirror, patted your back and said, I deserve this. I've worked so hard in my life, I deserve this. But the truth is you don't. The truth is that none of us deserve to be where we are. We're just lucky. We're just lucky, my friend. We're lucky that we were born in a family that took care of us, that gave us food, shelter, and upbringing, love, education, values, because of which we sit on opportunities that most people outside of this nice fancy cocoon would never get to witness, even for a second of their lives. And they work far harder than we ever will, and most of them are smarter than we ever will be. Don't take your privilege for granted. Don't get entitled. Don't feel entitled, because the minute you feel entitled, you start complaining. Complaining about random shit in life that you shouldn't be complaining about, and that instantly stops your learning. Don't get entitled. And then number 3, and the final point, every product, every service, every outfit out there is serving just one purpose and one purpose alone: to make our lives comfortable. You need a book? Click. You need the latest movies? Click. You need a cab? Click. You need food? Click. You need love? Swipe right. Everything that you need at the speed of thought, available to you when you want it. So it tricks us into believing that the purpose of life is to make life comfortable, when the truth is, the people that you look up to, the people that you're inspired by, the people that you would want to be, they on a constant daily basis are picking up the path of maximum resistance. They are not choosing the easy path, my friend. They know that this is the hard path, and yet they choose it because they know that if they win, it's going to change their orbit. And that's what they sign up for. don't get comfortable. When you bring these three things together, spending time with people who are very different from you, doing it in a manner that you never feel entitled, that you're constantly learning, and doing it in a manner that you never get comfortable, that you're constantly challenging yourself, facing your fears, you have the potent mix of what comprises an entrepreneurial mindset. And after that, trust me, it doesn't matter whether you own a company or not. It doesn't matter whether you work in a large company or a small company, whether you have a job or not. You have something that uniquely distinguishes you from most others. And if you can build this mindset as early as you are in your life, you are going to give yourself the best gift that you can. On that note, I thank you again. I wish you all the best. I'm super proud of how far you've come along, and I'm super excited for how far you're going to go to. Thank you so much. All the best.
Wow. That was really radical thinking. I loved every bit of it. I'm sure each one of you as well could really relate to many of those points that Mr. Variku mentioned. It's getting interesting. Well, it's going to get even more interesting now because the next one that we have planned for you is extremely powerful. Well, it's the time for the Fireside chat. Let me go ahead and take a few minutes now as I go ahead and mention and introduce you to our panelists and who are also our jury members for the day. We're starting with Mr. Anant Maheshwari, President, Microsoft India. As the President of Microsoft India, Anant is responsible for Microsoft's overall business and presence in India, leading engagement with policymakers, customers, business partners, and of course, the industry ecosystem. At Microsoft, Anant works to make the company's mission of empowering every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more, aligned with India's inclusive growth agenda. He's totally committed to supporting governments, entities, and organizations in India progress on their journey of digital transformation. Anant is the member of the NASSCOM Executive Council, chairman of the CII IT and IT-enabled Services Committee, and also the fellow of the Aspen Leadership Institute. He serves as an independent director on the board of Hindalco Industries. Now, prior to Microsoft, Anant served as the president of Honeywell India and has also worked at McKinsey & Company. I'd like to welcome you, Mr. Maheshwari. Thank you for your presence. Joining him on this panel discussion as a jury member today will be Awais Ahmed, founder and CEO Pixel. Now, a space technology startup which is building a constellation of high-resolution, hyperspectral imaging small satellites. Now, these cutting-edge technology hyperspectral satellites will measure the health of our planet every 24 hours at a 50x higher detailed compared to other satellites constellation. Awais founded Pixel in 2019 at an age of 21 years. That's right. While he was still pursuing undergraduate studies in India with a vision of establishing a global space company working on to bringing the benefits of space down to Earth. Awais has previously one of the founding members and the engineering lead at Hyperloop India, the only Indian and one of the 24 global finalists in the SpaceX Hyperloop pod competition, where they built India's first ever Hyperloop pod and presented it to Elon Musk. Welcome, Mr. Ahmed. It's a pleasure to have you here as well. Meanwhile, joining them is going to be our next panelist, Ms. Shraddha Sharma, founder and CEO, Your Story Media. Shraddha is the founder and CEO of Your Story Media, which is India's largest digital media platform for entrepreneurship. She founded Your Story as a digital storytelling platform for entrepreneurs and startups in 2008, leaving behind a lucrative job at a top national media company, solely because she believed India's new age entrepreneurs deserve to have their stories told. Something that mainstream media was not really ready to do at that point of time. Since then, she has scaled Your Story to become one of India's leading digital media platform with a unique business covering every aspect of India's new economy, all the while ensuring that positive, inspirational storytelling remained the core ethos of the company. With more than 2 million followers on her personal social media handles, over 5 million on Your Stories handles, and about 8 million monthly active readers on the platform, Shraddha's network and influence are far-reaching. She has consistently leveraged over the past decade to enable thousands of entrepreneurs and change makers across the country. Her contribution to the ecosystem has been acknowledged many times over the years. She was on Fortune's list of best 40 under 40 entrepreneurs in India for 3 years in a row. In 2018, she won the Forbes Power Trailblazers Award and the FICCI Flow Young Women Achievers Award, amongst others. She has twice featured on LinkedIn's list of powerful influencers after Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji and actress Priyanka Chopra. Welcome, Shraddha. Thank you for being here with us. And finally, we have our fourth panelist, Trupti Makkar, CEO, White Hat Junior, Byju's Future School. Welcome. She took over as the CEO of White Hat Junior and Byju's Future School in August of 2021. She joined White Hat Junior earlier in December of 2020 as Head of Customer Experience and Delivery, and initiated multiple key projects, including driving a global, scalable, customer-centric strategy to help transform the customer's experience with a high-focus compliance. The result have shown in industry-leading NPS consistently. She has also entrusted with the responsibility of leading the company's large teacher ecosystem of 11,000 plus teachers across coding, math, and now music. Trupti has played a pivotal role in the company's scalability across countries, courses, and formats by setting structures for execution at scale. Now, before joining here as the former global business head for banking and FS Ops at Wipro, she led a large team across Asia, US, Europe, and the business was recognized by analysts as a benchmark in growth and customer experience in a highly regulated industry. Trupti has also been associated with Genpact, a former GE division, where she built the life insurance business and was amongst the fastest growing young leaders in the company. She is also a founding member of the skill development startup, where she worked closely with NASSCOM, NSTC, and several state governments in India to drive and facilitate upskilling of youth for a tech-led industry. An MBA from IIM Bangalore and an economics topper, university topper from Hansraj College, Delhi University. Trupti is also a certified GE Six Sigma Black Belt holder and a current member of the CII Education Council. Indeed, it's a pleasure to have you with us on this panel. With this, I think we are very sure now that these next few minutes that we shall be spending listening to the panelist is going to be extremely, extremely enriching. So we will start by inviting Mr. Maheshwari to take over and start by sharing his thoughts, proceeding which we would move into joining with the panelists into the fireside. So this is going to be an interesting session. Let's sit back and listen to them. Mr. Maheshwari, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Ganesh. So first of all, hello, everyone. I really hope you and your families are safe and well. I'm just delighted to be part of the Imagine Cup. It is definitely one of the events I look forward to the most in the year. I've always come away very inspired by not just the ideas and the enthusiasm that I see in the Imagine Cup, but also by the desire to change the world and to make a big difference. Now, to make a difference, you have to have a growth mindset. What is this growth mindset all about? Very simply, it means the ability to keep learning, to keep trying, failing, iterating. So one of my favorite stories around the growth mindset is the Marshmallow Challenge. A group of kindergarten children was set up against a team of architects in a building competition. The task was that each group had to build the tallest freestanding structure using 20 sticks of spaghetti, some tape, some string, and one marshmallow. So now remember, we are talking about architects versus young children in building a tall building. Who do you think would win? To everyone's surprise, the kindergarten children came out on top. Why? because children are natural learners and they spend more time experimenting, failing, and iterating. The adults, on the other hand, the specialists, spend more time trying to be right. In other words, those with a growth mindset focus more on developing their ability and finding opportunities to learn. The pandemic has been another great example. With every wave, we came back stronger, more capable, with more solutions. Each one of you has also demonstrated, perhaps unknowingly, the growth mindset. So I'm sure there have been moments of frustration of learning, but plenty of eureka moments as well in the last couple of years. So as you go through the Imagine Cup and later much larger arenas in future, I hope each one of you will hold on to this mindset. Congratulations on coming this far, and I wish you the very best for your presentations coming up. But before we get there, I have three fantastic leaders who will lead with the growth mindset every single day, and I have a few questions for them. I'm really honored to be on this panel along with Aves, Shraddha, and Trupti. So let me start with Aves first. Aves, what drove your dream to explore the final frontier as we've known it, space? And what kept the dream alive despite setbacks?
Thanks for having me, Anand. It's a pleasure to be here with you and the other panelists. In very short, I think the thing that drove me and kept me at it was just my love and passion for space. As Ankur was mentioning, and as many have mentioned, a lot of us as kids are fascinated with space. Almost everyone wants to be an astronaut. Almost everyone wants to go to space. But somehow, as we grow, that curiosity and that wonder sort of starts to go away, and it did in my case as well. But it opened up when I joined college. So I think firstly, my parents were a very key part in getting me those books and telescopes and things like that, which fascinated me and fueled that passion further. But at college, it really took off because while I studied at BITS Pilani, there was sort of a no attendance policy, which I was fairly liberal towards, that enabled me to work with the student satellite team, perhaps, that was working with ISRO, or be a part of the Hyperloop team, as was mentioned earlier. To have freedom to be able to go out and pursue things that were beyond the normal curriculum taught me things that would have otherwise, I would not have learned those in the normal course of things. There were two things that I think in university helped me to get there. One was the fact that there were so many smart, ambitious people from all around the country. And when you talk to them every day and when you look at what they're achieving, it gives you a sense of inspiration as well, that there are so many people achieving so much. There's no limit to the ambition that you can really have. So as long as you're able to find the passion and the things that you're passionate about, you just have to get at it. The moment of inspiration came during the SpaceX competition. They took us all the way to Los Angeles and we were taken on a tour of the SpaceX factory. So looking at the rocket engines being built firsthand, looking at the rocket that was standing in front of their HQ, that's when I decided that I'd always loved space, but somehow that wonder went away. And that was a eureka moment of sorts where I decided that, I've loved space and this is something that I would at least want to devote some time towards to see whether I want to pursue something there. So coming back from there, just dived deep into it. What also helped was I was naive back then, didn't have the idea of the challenges that would come, which is something that I think children have an advantage. They don't know how tough something is going to be. To begin is to be half done. So as long as you get started and you start figuring out problems one after the other, you get to the solution, and that's what happened here as well. I just wanted to build something to send up to space, and then that turned into what we're doing at Pixel. So that's what drew me. I think in the end, it's the people, the parents, the friends that you to make that inspire you and motivate you, but also the freedom to be able to pursue things that let you find what is it that you truly love and what your North Star for your life is.
That is so cool to hear, Aves, and I can totally relate with the no attendance policy at BITS Pilani since I share the alma mater with you. You were, of course, thinking about space, and I was playing bridge in my first year. So very, very different use of that no attendance policy. Let me move forward and go to Shraddha. Shraddha, you work with one of the most fundamental of human needs to tell stories. And I'm sure by now you must have heard thousands of stories of startups and unicorns. What are the 2 or 3 learnings that have stood out for you from those stories?
Anand, thanks. Very happy to be here. I was thinking about this, and especially today in the last 1 year when the startups are making so much of good noise, I would say it's very important to see that some of the most outstanding leaders, entrepreneurs, unicorns who've stood and stood long, one thing that clearly stands out for them has been this long-term thinking mindset. And when you think long-term, then you don't optimize for short-term, then you make relationships, do everything which keeps long-term. It's like an endurance sports, and these guys are playing that endurance sports, and some of the big names, people we look up to, are clearly who, it looks like they became unicorns or successful, but they've all been in it for last 12, 13, 14 years that we've been tracking them. So one. Second is extremely underrated and not talked about is self-examination. And most of the entrepreneurs whom I've seen, or leaders who really continuously climbed and continued to climb rather than one peak, many peaks, are people who examine themselves a lot. And especially as people, we examine everyone around us a lot, but these are people who look and examine themselves. And the more you examine yourself, the more you improve your game. And these are two things to me which have really stood out for a lot of people whom I've really seen succeed over, continuously succeed.
Thank you so much, Shraddha. So I see a little bit of a trend line here as Aves was speaking about the focus, the ecosystem that came around him, and you're talking about that perseverance to climb continuously, one peak at a time. And I think that is clearly part of that growth mindset. So let me move to Trupti, because I think she has a very real-time experience of this age of intense learning that we all live in, and we all learn very differently. So Trupti, let me ask you, from your perspective, what are the 2 or 3 hallmarks of a super learner?
Yeah, so Anand, thank you for having me here. Part of the reason I thought this is a great opportunity is for me to learn as much as it's for me to be able to share, right? So I think everyone who wants to succeed in whatever they want to succeed in have to be shamelessly curious. So no matter which field you are in, no matter what you do, be very, very shamelessly curious about asking questions, about knowing more. So one of the key sayings that I live by, and this is what Aristotle had said, right? The more I know that I don't know, right? So to be a super learner, you have to remain shamelessly curious, ask questions. That's number 1. Number 2, you have to be a sponge, basically learn from everything and everyone around you. Doesn't matter what's the role you do, doesn't matter, you're talking with someone who's new to their industry, doesn't matter if someone is more experienced. And there are enough and more experiments done here, right? There was a very famous hole-in-the-wall experiment done where a group of children in slums were left with a computer, and they figured out, how it works all by themselves. So a very minimalistic, invasive learning process is just to be a sponge and learn from everyone around you. Last, I think, and that's true so much for everything that everyone has spoken about today, right? You have to see that you're failing enough number of times, and that's how you measure your progress. So to be a super learner, if you are successful at everything you do, you're probably not pushing your learning and yourself enough. So I think those 3 things: remain shamelessly curious, learn from everything and everyone around you, and do to test whether you're learning, and fail enough number of times to keep pushing yourself. And again, thanks for having me here. I think it's been a delight listening to everyone so far.
So it's amazing to see the consistency in a way of how the threads have added up from Aves to Shraddha to Trupti. Now I'll come back with a common question to all 3 of you. It's a question that I think each one of you would have answered many times to yourselves, but now I'll ask it in front of this audience. Each of you epitomize the dream it, build it, live it, the tagline for Imagine Cup. So what would you tell your 18-year-old self to dream, build, and live bigger? And we'll maybe go in the same order of Aves, Shraddha, and then Trupti. Aves, over to you.
Yeah, Anand, so I think I would tell my 18-year-old self to get some more sleep, because that ended up reducing the years later. But more seriously, I think, to get out of one's comfort zone, right? To be able to take risks. The young age is where you're able to take risks, and if things don't pan out, you still have a lot of options to figure out by your 30s or whatnot. A ship is always safe in the harbor, but it was never meant to stay there. So to be able to take risks, get out of the comfort zones. I would have never have been able to go to SpaceX and then get inspired for Pixel if I hadn't taken the courage to work on a team that was working on a Hyperloop pod, which we had no idea to sort of build, right? So I think to get out of comfort zone is what I would get more out of my comfort zone is what I would tell my 18-year-old self. And the other thing is, go deep on things, multiple things. If you're interested about something, read up about it, build things, talk to people who are experts in the domain to actually figure out what it is that you love. As Ankur was mentioning, what is it that you're really good at, but also what makes you happy. And you can only do that by sort of going down on multiple things because you have the time and the resources and the bandwidth to be able to do that when you are young. And finally, you'll hear a lot of no's. There'll always be naysayers. There were people with more experience in space technology compared to the years of living that I had done, who had said that there's no way that this would work, the idea that we had. And if you'd listened to them, then you'd sort of not be here. So you listen a lot of no's, but all you require are a few yeses from a few of your customers initially, or a few of the investors, or a few of your early believers. So no matter how many no's you hear, as long as you know that something is worth pursuing, just keep at it. And when the facts change, do change your opinion, but otherwise just keep at it head first. So I think that's a few things I can think of the top of my head.
Very powerful, Aves. Shraddha, over to you.
Anant, again, I was just listening to Aves and thinking, one of the things I would say to my 18-year-old self is that please unlearn whatever you learned in your middle class upbringing, because one of the biggest BS that we all grew up with is that as middle class household is you have to work very hard, life is tough, you have to go and make things happen, earn money, do things, and बहुत सुन के हमें बड़ा किया जाता है, and nobody tells us that life can be effortless. And then there's a beautiful book that changed my trajectory, like you could achieve amazing things very, very effortlessly, and we are never told that have fun. And life passes by and you can die anytime. Again, something that we don't believe and think will happen to us. But I would just say do whatever, because life is not a zero-sum game. And our upbringing tells us that we have to win, we have to get that top marks, we have to get that seat, we have to get that table. But honestly, if you get the table, you're cool enough, you'll invite 10 other people to the table. And as today at this age, I could just say that I wish my 18-year-old has a blast and enjoys, because life is about living. If you enjoy, you are happy, you make things around you happy, and you have a very happy outcome. And it takes practice, it takes effort. So yeah, this is what I would tell my 18-year-old self.
I'm really dying to hear what Trupti has to say, because then it'll be great to bring all these three threads together. So Trupti, go ahead.
Sure, Anand. I think very similar to what Aves and Shraddha said, right? But on the same thread, bother significantly less with who thinks what about what you do, right? So keep pushing, keep doing things versus keep thinking about how things can be, what may happen, what may not happen, till you get to doing things with your own hands, which really push you out of comfort zone. You wouldn't know what you're capable of. So I think just bothering much less about what society thinks, will I succeed, will I not succeed, just go ahead and do it. So I think that's what I'll tell my 18-year-old self.
No, it is so amazing to hear all three of you. And I have to say, as you were speaking, I was getting reminded of Yoda from Star Wars, as to how Yoda would guide the entire legion of the warriors that were to follow. But amazing to just hear about the focus, the perseverance, but having fun at the same time, and really focusing on those yeses and not really bothering about what everybody's got to say, but staying true to your own mission of what you're after. And in a way, that drives it, making effortless. Because then you're not working at it every day, even though anybody else might say you're working hard at it, but in your heart, you're not working at it because it is something that you really enjoy while doing it. It has been amazing listening to you, Aves, Shraddha, and Trupti, but here we are to inspire and get inspired by these presentations that are coming up for the Imagine Cup finalists. So with that, I'll hand it back and let's get the whole contest rolling. Kanish, back to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maheshwari, and thank you to the entire panel there. What an interesting one. I'm sure each one of us could pick up many thoughts and many directions. A lot of our questions would be answered, and obviously inspiration for the 4 teams, because now's the time what we've all boiled down to or been preparing towards, the presentation of the tournament for the Imagine Cup 2022. Get ready, teams, all the best. Let us quickly go ahead and let me start by introducing you to the teams. Here they are. Team Sustainable Label, which is qualified under the Earth category. Team Blisscare, which is qualified under the Education category. Team IOT Trailblazers under the Health category, and Team Synthesize AI under the Lifestyle category. Once again, I cannot say this enough, but well done for reaching so far already. With this, let me also introduce you to the evaluation criteria. For the teams, it remains quite similar how you were judged in the pre-finale section as well. Technology holds a 40% weightage, diversity, inclusion, and accessibility 20%, innovation 15%, concept 15%, and feasibility 10%. Just want to bring to your notice, it's not just technology, it's the whole package put together. So pay attention to every aspect. Briefly taking you through the ground rules. Here they are. Once again, they remain similar to the previous ground rules. Please make sure that while you are making your presentation to the jury members, you have 3 minutes to do so, post which it will be followed by a 2-minute session on the question answers by the jury members who would be asking you these questions. Also, I would request only the presenter to keep their cameras on, share their screen during the presentation. And for the juries, I would request you to please make a note. We have earlier sent you a Microsoft form link, which is the evaluation sheet, self-descriptive. We would request you to use a fresh form for each individual team. With that, and I'm possibly that has already been sent to you earlier, so you can refer to that. With that, I think this is going to be the perfect moment to get started with the teams. All the best, and as our jury members also mentioned, Shraddha also mentioned, it's about enjoying the session. So start enjoying the session. We will start with our first team. I am going to welcome in Team Sustainable Labels to please join us at this point of time for their presentation. Team Sustainable Labels, all the best.
Good afternoon. We're Team Sustainable Labels. We're Team Sustainable Labels. Ramya, Nidhi, and myself, Anaga. So would it be all right if I ask you a question? If I give you a choice to swap your current vehicle with an electric vehicle for free of charge, would you take it?
Yes.
I suppose most of us would prefer the same, since we are aware that electric vehicles have reduced emissions. So the IPCC recognizes that there aren't enough tools to create awareness about how individuals are responsible for greenhouse gas emissions as consumers, and also an infrastructure for mobilizing the entire potential supply of carbon credits for offsetting doesn't exist. And these are the problems that we're trying to address. Our proposed solution is to create a software platform, Sustainable Labels, to track emissions, generate carbon footprint labels, and incentivize producers with carbon credit trading. So labeling will improve a consumer's ability to choose better options, like how nutritional, tobacco, and alcohol warning labels have done. We chose Microsoft Azure Blockchain Workbench preview with Ethereum and Solidity as the technologies. So a Ethereum Microsoft case study and a sample code is used for our proof of concept. Any producer or a manufacturer can be a user of our platform. In this example, we use a dairy industry, which will have at least 5 partners, right from the farmers to the consumers. Along with the transaction data, the IoT telemetric emission data can also be captured in our platform, and smart contracts can be used to enforce laws. Our platform provides features to track all stages of carbon credits, like tracking, pricing, and trading. Additionally, it offers microcarbon credit selling for additional revenue. This form of incentivizing will encourage producers to innovate in their processes. Our platform will maintain market integrity by integrating with existing services for verification, exchange, and trading of carbon credits. So the current global demand of carbon credits is at $300 billion and would increase 15x by 2030 and 100x by 2050. We aim to have two sets of revenue streams. One direct from the platform usage as any other open source platforms, and also from microcarbon credit selling to the industries. So to summarize, this platform helps to solve current challenges like create consumer awareness and drive changes, and also provide the infrastructure to mobilize the entire potential supply of carbon credits to meet the growing demand. I'm no executive, but I know that an organization should have a business plan to go from A to B. So here's the same for us. We're very ambitious, and our goal in 2022 is to win the Microsoft Imagine Cup prize money, and in 2024, bring the tech solutions to life, a minimum viable product. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Team Sustainable Labels. Time's up on that one. And we also now open the house to our jury for any questions. Please, go ahead.
Thanks for the presentation, team. Have you tested this solution with any organizations already mentioned who have shown interest in going ahead with using the platform?
Thank you for the question, but not as of now, because we're still at the ideation and the proof of concept stage. So this is still an idea, and we do need some kind of funding to actually make it into a working proof of concept. So.
Good, thank you.
So I have a question too. You had a lot of use cases and a variety of models to be able to monetize the idea, right? Which is the single most important one you want to go after. So there is a lot of application of what your solution can do potentially, and a lot of revenue models on that slide.
Going back to the slides. Yeah. So as I mentioned before, we're going to take an example of a dairy industry. So here on the left, you can see the producers and the manufacturers. There are 5 parties involved, the farmer, the transporter, the dairy, the distributor, as well as the consumer. So we're going to be using Microsoft Azure blockchain, where we'll be able to give away carbon credits, as in trade carbon credits. And also the data that will be stored in here will be non-tamperable. Once the data is inputted into this platform, we cannot edit it, which means it's a non-tamperable platform. And also, if you were asking about the revenue streams, we're going to have 2 sources of revenue streams. One from a microcarbon credit selling.
I think we may have a feed issue. Okay, just checking if any of the other team members are there and can pick up from where Anagha left off.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, as my team member was saying, so the revenue that we will be looking forward to is incentivizing this and turning towards alternate sources like hosting and really like transaction fees, and going ahead with really bringing all of these different platforms together and really integrating all of this. And this is how we really plan to derive an income from. So yeah, we'll be turning towards models like those.
All right, thank you, Nidhi.
Shraddha, do you have a question? Otherwise, I'll go ahead.
Just very quickly, for my understanding, that in US, China, governments are giving a lot of incentivizing industries, and especially some of the sectors that you've mentioned, and a lot of industry bodies are now acting as exchanges. Do you see a competition from that, and how do you plan to build, grow big, and be a differentiated entity in the space?
So the answer to your question, right now, there isn't any infrastructure to like integrate all of the services into one place, as in the verification of carbon credits or the trading of carbon credits. They're all discrete. So there's no communication between the individual industries. So what we'll do is create a platform to integrate all of these services into one place so that there will be communication among all of these sectors. And in the way I see this, I don't think there will be any competition because we plan to collaborate with some of these existing industries.
Thank you. Thanks.
Just a quick question to close out. How are you, what's your view on the current debate on the planet around the spend accounting, which is actually questioning the way all of the measurements are done for the sustainability of products and production?
Could you repeat the last part again?
So just checking, the spend accounting becomes a very big determinant of what you actually call out as the information on these labels. That's the current basis. Does that impact how you would look at this going forward as the accounting levels change?
Right now, going back to the slides. So here, there isn't any fixed like infrastructure for the labels, if that's what you're trying to ask. Like right now, there aren't any labels. It's all experimental at this point of time. So we can compute the amount of greenhouse gases emitted over the life cycle of a product or a service. And it's measured in equivalents of carbon dioxide in kgs or grams, any weight equivalents. So I don't think it will be a problem.
Got it. Thank you so much. Ganesh, back to you.
We will go on to Team Blisscare, which is representing under the education category. So I will invite Team Blisscare to join us at this point of time. All the best, Team Blisscare. Relax and enjoy your presentation. Over to you.
So what you can see on the screen is a complete darkness. The darkness you feel when you close your eyes or when you go to sleep. And this darkness is in the life of 286 million visually impaired people over the globe who cannot see this beautiful world and are also deprived of a basic education, which is a basic human right. We are here to solve this problem, and we are Blisscare. Now, how it started for us? It started for us with a person named Sanjay. Who is Sanjay? Sanjay is a brother, and saw him growing as a visually impaired, struggling in the life, not getting equal opportunities. So this was his life. But like Sanjay, there are 286 million visually impaired people over the globe. Of this, 63 million are Indian, and only 5% get any sort of education due to lack of a braille literacy. Now, why this problem arises? Because the production of a braille formatted book is very expensive, and a book of merely 100 pages is costing more than 4,000 to 5,000 INR, which is not at all affordable. And for example, our favorite Harry Potter book, it's costing us at only 270 INR, and same to the visually impaired is costing in 5,000 INR in the braille format. And other resources to visually impaired is also very expensive. And this particular population is expected to grow by 412 million in the coming 10 years. So therefore, there's a need for the solution. And we are here with a solution in a form of a braille display system or a braille tablet. But this is not a normal tablet that we use because this surface has a holes on it. And the beads bulges out at a real time so that a blind individual can touch, feel, and understand whatever is replicated on the same. So it can replicate any text, diagram, and map to help a visually impaired. As well as it gives them access to unlimited content that is available online and offline. Online may be any of the web pages, offline may be any of the PDFs or documents. So that is what we bring in with our innovation, which is currently not possible. And it's an amalgamation of IoT plus algorithms. Now, what is the feature that we're bringing? We have voice recognition system and talkback mechanism to support a visually impaired, as well as we have a haptic feedback mechanism that is based on special vibration waveform, which guides the visually impaired through the braille pattern. Now, here you can see a visually impaired girl trying to feel and understand the braille pattern. That is how a touch-based mechanism works. Now, we are connected to the MP stage, and we are actively testing with the blind institutes and NGOs, and we are in process of talking with the manufacturers. And here are a few of the testimonials for the same. What is a USP? We are 3 times cost efficient and can be scaled up quickly. Most important part, the barrier to entry in a form of patent. We have 2 possible, that is process and design. And third, we have completely open source platform. Market TAM is 26 plus million users, that is divided over the globe. SAM is 63 plus million users divided over India. And SOM is 3 plus million users that we have segmented into B2B and B2G market, consisting of blind institutes, blind association, NGOs, etc. Now, how we are reaching the users with a direct approach with a product demonstration. Second, launching MVP containing open source content. Third, forming a community where one visually impaired people can communicate with another visually impaired. They can learn from each other and they can share each other's work. So that kind of community we are preparing. Revenue stream, 1 unit cost of this device is 10,000 INR. Attachable module like Braille keyboard is starting from 300. Revenue stream 2 is in a form of interactive content subscription, which is ranging from 500 to 1,500 INR per quarter. This is a competitor. Thank you.
All right, time's up there for you, Blisscare, but now we'll proceed further to the question answers. So jury members, this is over to you. It's a free stage, so whoever has a question, please go ahead.
Hey Chinmay, you mentioned you had done some testing with certain NGOs, etc. Could you give us a little bit more elaboration on sort of, what you are testing for with the focus groups?
Sure. Yes, sir. So actually, we created a prototype and we took it to blind institutes and NGOs, and we did the user testing there, where we have set up a demo classroom there with 30 students in the classroom, and it turned out to be successful. Also, we received few feedbacks on the design aspect. We have worked upon this. So that is the.
Chinmay, are there some existing solutions that you have thought about or that you would have seen in the market?
Yes, if the screen is visible. There are few competitor. BrailleMe, Project Mudra are the Indian competitor. Michigan Braille Device and the BlightApp are the major competitor. This is a foreign competitor for us. But in comparison to them, we are a complete tablet device, unlike them who are only a tactile device. And at the same time, we provide adapted content. Like at a real time, you can access any content available online and offline. So which our competitor cannot do. As well as our maintenance and pricing is also way low in comparison to competitor. So that is what we do.
Do you have a question?
No, I just want to say it's brilliant what you've made and at the price point that you've made. Just very quickly, have you tested it in the market?
Yes, ma'am. We have set up a demo classroom in Blind Association, NGOs, and Blind Institute. So with the 30 students per classroom, with a demonstration we have set up, where we have integrated a classroom with the teachers, and it has been successful test as of now, and accuracy has been more than 91%.
Great, thank you.
So let me just add a final question there, Chinmay. What's been the toughest feedback you received from the early users of this device? Why did it not work for them?
Sure. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. So actually, sir, we haven't received a tough feedback from the user, but before that, the outer noise. So they said that visually impaired are not that comfortable with technology. So that is what the response we have received. But when we actually went to blind institutes, obviously they were quite skeptic for first few minutes, but after a few seconds, they were like quite comfortable and they were trying to understand. Because basically we are converting their traditional education platform into a digital education platform. So they were quite comfortable with that. So that is what we have received. And yes, we are continuously working and actively testing on that as well.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Team Blisscare. That is indeed special. All the best to you. Okay, with this, we move on to our next team that I will be inviting now for their presentation. Team IOT Trailblazers, who would be making their presentation under the health category. So Team IOT Trailblazers, all the best. Godspeed to you.
Did you know that 1 in 3 senior citizens die from Alzheimer's or related dementia? That 70% of Alzheimer's patients have wandered off at least once. India's dementia and Alzheimer's burden is forecast to reach 7.5 million by the year 2030. Namaste and greetings. I'm Arzu from Team IOT Trailblazers, and we are here to solve this long-ignored critical problem of Alzheimer's. In the words of Nicholas Sparks himself, Alzheimer's is a barren disease, as empty and lifeless as a desert. It is a thief of hearts and souls and memories. Unless a cure is found, 16.5 million people will suffer from Alzheimer's by the year 2050. But here we are with AlzoCure. It is a health tech project that is focused on providing a brand new perspective in the field of Alzheimer's cure. The golden triangle, the three-way connection between the home device, the app, and the tracker band serves as a closely knit bubble of security that leaves little to no room for error that can be potentially dangerous to the lives and health of the Alzheimer's patient. We'll also follow a monthly SaaS subscription model for both B2B and D2C. The current solutions that are adopted to dealing with dementia cure are all traditional processes that have shown to be error-prone, be it expensive care centers, huge burden on home nurses, or home care curbing the patient's freedom. The monthly cost of a product is just $25, which is definitely lesser than your Netflix bill. We have divided our annual work from mass testing, sentimental analysis to creating a social ecosystem like never before, including a future vision for child and road safety. We have created a network of India's top healthcare institutes and professionals to validate multi-site RCTs as well. Here's a prototype visual of our product. The home device sets a boundary, and once the patient exits the boundary, the family members will be notified with the help of a tracker band and the app. Now let's have a look towards the live demo. So here's the application interface, which the family members of the patient will be using. It will be having three types of modules. The first one will be the help one. The second one will be the utility center, and the third one will be the live location, as you can see over here. So once you go to help, there will be all the emergency contacts, and you can call them if it's required. Moving on, we will be seeing the live location of the patient. The family members will be able to track the patient, and you can also make the SOS calls as well. And then we move towards utility center. All the health stats from BMI, ECG, even keeping a mental health checkup on the patient can be done through this. Now, moving on, let's have a look towards the hardware visualization. So as you can see over here, we can collect various type of health stats of the patient through this. For example, the temperature or the BMI or the pulse rate. So that's all for today. And this is Team IOT Trailblazers signing off, and a special thanks and shout out to our mentor Arvind Upadhyay sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Team Trailblazers, for making perfectly in time. I would now open the house for Q&A from the jury members. Jury members, over to you.
You know, Arzu, I'll go. Arzu, first of all, congratulations on all of you. I see 3 young girls. It's very heartening, and also to Imagine Club that for choosing and selecting you. One question I had that, you know, in Alzheimer care, IoT being leveraged, and there are a lot of devices in the market, right, today, if you see, and there, of course, the market is growing. There are more than 50 million people today. But tell me, how are you planning to differentiate what you have?
May I take this question? So
yes,
in terms of the solutions that are currently in market, none of them are specifically designed for Alzheimer patients, especially to help them be in their homes in terms of home care. Most of the solutions that people currently use are more or less a device that's made for a different purpose, and you are just adjusting yourself to that device instead of the device adjusting to the needs that's there for an Alzheimer patient. The various health stats, like there's no emotional touch to it, and that's something that we really wanted to be in our device. Other than that, we also plan to have a community of all Alzheimer patients, because an important aspect that we miss is that the family that's taking care of the patient also needs a lot of emotional support. It's not an easy job. So we also have that aspect, which I feel makes us way different from any competitor in the market.
And adding to that point, I'd like to say that since the patient is wearing our product, we aim to make sure that we can fetch each and every data related to him, like what from the physical and mental aspects. So like what he's thinking, like is he anxious or is he happy, how he or she reacts when he saw his family members. So I think this is something that differentiates us from the competitors in the market.
Okay, thanks Akshat, thanks Ananya.
Just one question from my side. Have you tested this product on some patients? So I have someone very close who's an Alzheimer's patient in my family. It will be great to just hear when you tested, what were your observations?
Yes. So in terms of testing, we have tested it on 5 different patients for 3 weeks each. And other than that, we have also tested it on regular healthy people. That's around 10 to 12 in number. That's basically just to compare the data between a healthy patient, like a healthy person and an Alzheimer patient. And in terms of reviews, the initial prototype that was present, we had to decrease that a lot because it was very heavy, and obviously Alzheimer patients have a certain age to them. So we had to decrease a lot of the weight that was on the device. And other than that, the reviews were pretty good. Like in terms of security, especially, that was the prime concern for us.
All right, all the best.
Great work, team. So I think firstly, great work. On the wearable device itself, is that something that the customers have to pay for separately, or is that included under the SaaS subscription? And how do you have partners already in place to sort of manufacture that at scale?
All right. So in terms of the hardware that's there, the total cost of like the entire setup is around 16,000 in production. So what we plan to do is, since 16,000 is still a pretty high value, what we plan to do is we'll have a monthly subscription model so that they can basically pay us out that 16,000 instead of together rather than in an year, because that will also allow us to get back the product if there is any error, if we have an improvement to make. So for the initial phase, we plan to have this model, and once we get onto proper production, you can pay 16,000 upfront and just a much smaller monthly fee.
Understood. Thank you so much. All the best.
So team, this is quite a noble vision and definitely something that I hope you really go successful on and saw your multi-year roadmap of what you're trying to do. Just one question to even think about speed and impact that you could potentially have. Did you evaluate using existing wearables that already exist in the market where a lot of signal is getting generated and these wearables are getting better every day, including smartwatches and many others? To actually leverage that hardware capability that already exists and focus your work a lot more on the signal analysis and the support that you could provide to both the patients and the families?
Yes, so in terms of the current wearables that are there, such as the Bitwatch, the Apple Watches, so we analyzed them. One of the major aspects that was missing from them was the security feature. That's basically the home device that's there. That just creates the security bubble, so the alarm system can go off. If that is something that the companies can allow us to have in their softwares, then we can very easily incorporate the current smartwatches as well into the entire thing. Basically, that was the stopping aspect that forced us to basically create our tracker band and get it into patents and everything.
Great ideas there. Just my quick ask also would be to look at that similar categories that may have similar needs, especially with childcare. A lot of similar technologies are getting developed. So you could think very laterally in terms of using technology capabilities that exist.
Yes, so we have that. If we could refer to the roadmap slide. Yes, thank you. So while doing our research, as we mentioned, we contacted a lot of doctors, like from a number of fields across India. So one of the things that we got was especially from pediatricians, that this is something that can be incorporated for very young children as well, especially ones who have like both parents working, or at least one parent working and one is taking care at home. So that's something that we included into the 2026 our production. And also the road IoT based products that are there. Like now almost all cars are going to be interconnected, like Teslas are. So that is also something that we incorporated, that if an Alzheimer patient is driving in front of you, you get the information in your car that yes, an Alzheimer patient in front of you. So you drive carefully, you are aware of the situation. So that's also something that we plan to incorporate in our future aspect. And the face detections is also something that we plan to incorporate.
Thank you so much.
All right, with this, let us go ahead and move on to our next team, which is now joining us, which is Team Synthesize AI, who are going to be making their presentation under the lifestyle category. So all the best, Team Synthesize AI. The stage is all yours.
AI is transforming healthcare by helping doctors diagnose patients more accurately and make predictions about patients' future health. However, the foundation of these models is data, and a significant barrier in the development of these models are challenges in acquiring large and expert annotated medical datasets due to patient privacy laws, high costs, and time-consuming nature. We are Team Synthesize AI, and our aim is to help medical researchers and health tech companies generate high-fidelity synthetic medical image data to help train robust AI diagnostic models. Stats show that 96% of the computer vision teams are already using synthetic data for applications like autonomous robots. Also, recently, University of Michigan leveraged synthetic data to massively increase the accuracy of their brain tumor classification model from 68 to 96% and reduce the training time by almost 50 times. This is something we need as we progress towards the heyday of artificial intelligence. In addition to providing us with diverse, representative, and humongous datasets, we also focus on protecting something far more valuable, patient privacy, which is far more secure compared to traditionally anonymized data. Most importantly, Synthesize AI can create realistic, artificial, and unique image samples while providing 99% saving in acquisition costs and 73% saving in data collection time. Tech giants like Microsoft are already using artificial data to create efficient AI models. Now, let us have a quick demo of our project. After logging into their account, the user can create a new project to synthesize data. In order to begin the generation, the user must upload at least 50 images to the project. Because training takes approximately 10 to 24 hours, the user is notified through email when the training is initiated or concluded. When the generation is finished, the user can download their data from the My Project section or from the link provided to them on their email. We have leveraged the power of conditional GANs to analyze the input at the finest level and generate high-quality, high-fidelity synthetic data for future use. We have achieved the validation threshold inception distance of 1.79, the best possible score being 0. So these are some of the outputs generated by our model on 3 different medical datasets. Synthesize AI is powered by Microsoft Azure under the hood. We have used Data Science Virtual Machine to train our model, app services to deploy it on the web along with Active Directory and blob storage. We'll be serving the global synthetic media generation market, which is worth $4.9 billion. To extend the reach of synthetic data production, we are collaborating closely with IIT Bombay's Biotech Incubation Center and Center of Excellence AIML. Our primary target customers are AI health tech companies, and our secondary target customers could be any of the industries on the right. Our revenue model has 3 pricing tiers: free, premium, and enterprise for all types of customers. Synthesize AI aims to make fast, reliable medical image data generation accessible to everyone requiring it. And our aim is to provide affordable synthetic data, preserve user privacy, and help accelerate AI development.
All right, time's up there for the team. Well presented, but it's now time for the question answers. Jury, stage is yours.
Thanks so much for the presentation. I think good work. I can relate to the lack of good data since we work on a lot of AI models as well. Have you worked with any existing companies, and sort of what is your accuracy in terms of baselining against actual data versus synthesized data? Do you have any numbers regarding that?
Right. So thank you for your question, sir. And currently, as we have shown on the previous slide, that we are currently collaborating with IIT's Bombay Biomedical Incubation Hub and Center of Excellence in AIML. However, most of the data that we are using for creating synthetic data and testing our models come from the Lata Mangeshkar Specialty Hospital here in Nagpur. And as for the baseline scores that you've asked, I'd like to give an example of one of the study that we've conducted wherein we focused on detecting chest diseases through X-rays. And even though on one side, when our baseline model had an accuracy of 83%, when we generated a significant amount of synthetic data using our model, we were able to improve that right until 94% with very or no minimum changes to the hyperparameters of our model. So that was a significant boost only by the use of synthetic data sir.
Understood. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so one more. Have you seen other companies who are doing similar work in medicine? Because in medicine is where you'll use synthetic data the most, right? With all the guidelines around privacy. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So, ma'am, there do exist other competitors like Exact Data or mostly AI or even Data Prof. And some of them are working in the medical domain, but the kind of data generation that they support is mostly numerical. So whether EHR, that is electronic health records, so they can generate synthetic electronic health records or mostly numerical data pertaining to various diseases. But we couldn't find any startup that solely focuses on generation of medical image data. And so basically we are only focusing on generating image data as of now.
Okay, so just a quick one. Have you thought through any ethical biases in the way you are creating this data because of both the input capabilities that you have and the sample sets you're using?
Yeah, so as of the ethical conditions that we have talked, we at this point of time, the testing that we've done is mostly the human Turing test. So we've taken our generated samples and the real samples to the doctors, and according to them, these two results look really similar. And for AI models currently, there isn't any specific law that relates to the data that is being used for medical AI models. Although we hope that there are laws that come up in India, because as in US, there are certain laws relating to AI-based software, but here we can't see any. So at this point of time, we haven't come up with any ethical challenges or biases relating to our data to our generated data.
Got it. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much.
With this, let me once again invite Anant. Mr. Maheshwari, if you are here, sir, if I can see you, then I can have, oh, there you go. All right, over to you, sir. Please, let's go ahead. Your experiences, the judges, and of course, you are the man who knows the winners. Over to you.
So even before I go and speak about the winners, I would first maybe just get the jury to share their experiences with this, the expertise, the drive, the creativity never has failed to impress me. It's truly wonderful to see this generation share the ideas and the hopes for the planet. So Avesh, Shraddha, Trupti, would love to hear about your experience through this short time and how inspired are you as we move forward. So opening it up for your comments.
Well, thanks for having us, Anand. I think it was very inspiring, firstly, to see all these young folks working on a variety of different ideas, right? I personally think the best way to learn something is to actually build something and go deep, and which is what all these teams are doing. So there has to be a winner for the sake of the competition, but we're all winners here as long as you are learning from it and moving forward. So very excited, and personally, I'm even more fired up now to go and do a lot more things, seeing all these folks work on their ideas passionately. So thanks for having me, and all the best to everyone, regardless of who's the winner and who's not. Everyone's sort of learned things here.
Anant, first of all, I'd like to tell the team at Microsoft and everyone who presented, we are setting a standard in India where pitches are of 2 minutes, and people are adhering to that. Otherwise, we've seen historically that pitches go on and entrepreneurs keep on speaking. So kudos to everyone. Second is, it's Imagine Cup. I want to say all of you imagined, and you really imagined big, and you really imagined wild, and you really imagined and showed the imagination of young India. So kudos to all of you, and keep imagining. Let it not stop with Imagine Cup. Imagine Cup should be a start to a lot of imagination, because we'll achieve anything in life with imagination. So I loved it, and everyone had, and then I also like that there were so many girls. I have to call this out. It was fun to see all of you. Thank you. Thanks, Anand.
Yeah, thank you, Anand. So I certainly got what I wanted from this forum, which is to get inspired. And I think what was a standout for me was across all ideas, lifestyle, health, education, and of course, Earth, the purpose of the ideas that the teams chose was fantastic, right? Each of those 4 categories could lead to so many different things, but they were all full of empathy and really picking up niche problems and trying to solve them in detail. So just that targeted focus, just that purpose of the customer, in all of these four cases, it was very, very clearly driven by purpose. So very impressed and very inspired by the depth of the ideas.
Absolutely, and I'll echo everything that Abhay, Shraddha, and Trupti said. I in fact said it right in the beginning. To me, annually when I come to the Imagine Cup, it puts a sense of reality of what is possible, and how much we get a little bit constrained in our ways. I go back to that example that I spoke of, the marshmallow challenge. I definitely identify with the architects, not so much with the kindergarten kids. Who can actually imagine the real big things and go forward. And in a way, this event inspires me to be childlike once again and really say, I don't want to operate in constraints. I don't want to constrain my mind. I don't want to imagine that I can only do so much. And there is a lot more that one can drive. So to all the four teams, you really achieved a lot today, and you'll always be winners, each one of you, because you made it to the finals of the Imagine Cup in India. But literally, yes, I would join the jury here in really applauding who you are. But at the same time, we can have only two of you go up to represent India in the Imagine Cup finals globally. So let's now see the winners of the Imagine Cup 2022 from India. The two teams that go forward are Blisscare for education and Synthesize AI in the lifestyle category as we move forward. So huge round of applause to both of the teams, and we really wish you the very best. The other two teams, I think your ideas really were very, very bold, and we do hope that you continue to build them forward as you go ahead. So with that, Ganesh, I hand it back to you.
Great. Thank you, jury members, for the great teams that you have chosen. All the best to both of you. Make India proud. And with this, I'm going to once again invite Miss Indrani to please join us and take this forward from here.
Can we maybe hear a couple of words from both the winners? I think it'll be great to hear from them.
Surely enough. So I guess just to give it a system, let's start with Chinmay, Blisscare.
Yeah, hi. Super happy and super excited for the finals, global finals as well. So what I think is we are from now from 0 to 1. Again, we'll start from 0 to go at the global level and try to make India proud there. So hoping for the best. Thank you for all the feedbacks that I've received as well as mentorship. So yeah, looking forward to global finale.
Great team, Blisscare. Your happiness is already visible. Keep up the great show. All right, team Synthesize AI. There you go. You guys you also represented last year, so you have a huge, let's say you have a benchmark that has already been set, and now you are going to take this forward. Please go ahead.
Actually, it's a really nostalgic moment being here in 2021 and now in 2022 with the same energy and the motivation and the passion to make a difference. And the thrill and excitement is like much more as compared to the previous year, just to bring back the cup home.
Yeah, so I should say that we've dreamt it, we've lived it, and now I think we've built enough, but this time it's time to bring the cup back home in 2022, and we hope that we get the Imagine Cup back in India this year.
Really awesome team. Good to see your continuous perseverance in this mission. Ganesh, back to you.
Thank you. And you guys, Synthesize AI, you better do this, because this is not everybody gets a second chance, and you actually are doing this. You are really living it up. Okay, Well, wow, I have goosebumps already when you get a second chance and when such impressive teams are on the roll. This time, I am sure the Imagine Cup is us. With that thought, let me welcome in once again Ms. Indrani Chaudhary to please take over and conclude this fantastic grand finale. What an epitome of an experience that we have had so far. Indrani, over to you from here.
Thank you, Kadesh. And wow, what an incredible competition this was. I'm totally blown away by the creativity, innovation, the diverse perspectives that all the participants demonstrated here today. Only two could take the seat to the global finals. The teams have actually turned their passion into purpose to make a real change to the society. Really excited. Congratulations to all the winners here, all the participating teams, and best wishes to Team Blisscare and Synthesize AI for the global finals. Can't wait to see what happens. When does the Cup come back to India? Very excited. And with that, we have reached the close of the session, and on behalf of Microsoft, I sincerely wanted to extend thanks to Professor Shastrapati from AICTE and Mr. Ankur Variku for their insightful and inspirational keynote. Big thanks to all the jury members here today, as well as those who participated in the knockout rounds earlier with us. Thank you for your commitment towards this cause, taking out time to evaluate the India finals winners here. Thank you once again, Mrityunjay Sahu, Vishal Soni, Arvind Upadhyay, and Rachit Mathur for volunteering your time as coaches and mentors to the participating team. I'm sure the teams will take the words of wisdom and have a successful entrepreneurship ahead. Thank you, Kanishk, and all the core members of the Imagine Cup 2022 from Microsoft, as well as the execution team, which is from Phase 1 and Keynote, for the flawless execution at the back end behind the scenes. And last but not the least, thank you, amazing viewers, for all the encouragement. With that, we sign off for now. This is Indrani Chaudhary, Chief Learning Officer of Microsoft India, and stay tuned to figure out who wins the global finals of Imagine Cup 2022. Thank you so much. Have a good day.